Okay, so when you hear the word constitution, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably some dusty old legal document, right? Well, what if I told you that document was actually the living, breathing blueprint for the world's largest democracy? Today, we're going to unpack the Constitution of India, not just as some rulebook, but as the master plan for a nation of over 1 billion people.
And calling it a blueprint isn't just me being dramatic. This one document literally lays out the entire framework, all the rights, the duties, the structure of the government for what amounts to 1/6 of all humanity. The scale is just mind-blowing. And get this, there's only one original handwritten copy from way back in 1950. And it's not just locked away in some vault. No, it's meticulously preserved inside a special, nitrogen-filled case at the Parliament Library. This thing isn't just a piece of paper. It's treated like a sacred national treasure. So how in the world do you create a blueprint that massive? Well, it wasn't just drawn up overnight. The story of India's constitution is all about careful construction, built on decades of history. So let's dig in and see how they laid the foundation for this new republic. You see, the journey really starts long before independence. Kind of ironically, a British law from 1935, the Government of India Act, actually provided the initial skeleton. Then, after almost 3 years of super intense debate, the Constituent Assembly finally adopted the new constitution in late 1949. But the real big moment? That came on January 26, 1950, when it officially went into effect, marking the birth of the Republic of India, a day that's now celebrated as Republic Day. But here's the thing, just writing a new rulebook wasn't going to be enough. To be truly independent, the framers had to make a clean break from the colonial past. And they did it with one single, incredibly powerful move, Article 395. This one article basically hit the delete button on all previous British laws related to India. It was this huge, bold declaration of legal and constitutional freedom. Okay, so if the Constitution is the blueprint, then you can think of the preamble as the architect's grand vision. It's this short, powerful intro that just captures the entire philosophy, the spirit, and the ultimate goals of the whole nation. It's really the soul of the entire document. And these words, they absolutely nail that vision. The preamble declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. Every single one of those words is a cornerstone. Sovereign means free from anyone else's control. Socialist aims for fairness. Secular means no state religion. And democratic, well, that puts the power right in the hands of the people. Together, they define the entire character of the nation. But the promise in the preamble isn't just about the state. It's a direct pledge to every single citizen. It guarantees justice, all kinds of it, equality of status and opportunity, liberty of thought and belief, and it aims to promote fraternity, this idea of a shared brotherhood. These 4 ideals are the pillars holding up the entire building. Now look, any good blueprint has to be flexible, right? Times change, society evolves, and a constitution has to be a living thing. But that brings up a huge challenge. How do you let people update the blueprint without letting them knock down those foundational pillars we just talked about? I mean, let's just ask it straight up. Can a parliament, even with the power to amend the Constitution, decide to just change its most fundamental parts? And this wasn't just some academic question. As you can imagine, tensions grew between the government and the courts after independence, and this became the single most important legal fight in the nation's history. So on one hand, if you just read the text, it seemed like Parliament had unlimited power to change whatever it wanted. It looked like the whole blueprint could be redrawn. But then the Supreme Court stepped in. In a landmark ruling, it said, hold on a minute. It declared that some features are so essential to the Constitution's identity that they are totally off limits. And out of that ruling came this absolutely ingenious idea, the basic structure doctrine. It's not actually written down anywhere. It's a judicial innovation. And what it basically says is, sure, you can renovate the house, you can paint the walls, you can change the furniture, but you cannot touch the foundation. This doctrine protects that unbreakable core of the Constitution from ever being torn down. And what you end up with is a constitution that has the best of both worlds. It's a living, breathing document that can change with the times, but it has a protected soul. Its core principles, things like democracy, secularism, the rule of law, they're shielded, making sure that original blueprint can never be fundamentally broken. And that leaves us with a pretty deep final thought to chew on. By creating this unbreakable core, India's legal system made a profound statement about what it values most. So the question for all of us is,
what does it really mean to try and make a nation's founding ideals permanent, protecting them even from the changing will of the people themselves?